On July 15, 2008, a frantic 911 call shattered the quiet in Orange County, Florida. Caylee Anthony, a grandmother in distress, reported her 2-year-old granddaughter, Caylee, missing. But it had been 31 days since she was last seen. Her daughter, Caylee Anthony, had dodged questions, told conflicting stories, and insisted Caylee was with a nanny named Zani. The call triggered what would become one of the most infamous investigations in American history. When detectives questioned Caylee Anthony, her story quickly began to fall apart. She claimed she worked at Universal Studios and had left Caylee with a nanny, but the nanny didn't exist. Investigators brought Caylee to Universal, where she walked through the building before finally admitting she didn't work there. It was a chilling moment, a mother caught in a web of deception and no sign of her missing child. Police impounded Caylee's white Pontiac Sunfire, and what they found inside disturbed even seasoned investigators. Cadaver dogs alerted to the smell of human decomposition in the trunk. Forensic tests revealed traces of chloroform and a single strand of hair resembling Caylee's. Alongside a strong odor, a trash bag filled with suspicious items raised deeper fears. Had the car been used to transport a body? As the search for Caylee intensified, Caylee's behavior shocked the public. Instead of showing concern, she was out partying, entering a hot body contest, clubbing with friends, and even getting a new tattoo that read Bella Vita, meaning beautiful life. Photos from those nights painted a picture of a carefree young woman, not a grieving or panicked mother. It begged the question, where was Caylee, and why wasn't Caylee worried? Caylee's face was suddenly everywhere, on posters, TV broadcasts, and in candlelight vigils. Volunteers and search teams combed the swamps and woods of Central Florida, hoping for a miracle. The disappearance of one little girl became a national obsession. News outlets covered every detail, while people across America grew angry and suspicious. Why wasn't the mother more involved? What secrets was she hiding? On December 11, 2008, a utility worker stumbled upon a small, trash-filled bag in the woods near the Anthony home. Inside were the skeletal remains of a child, later confirmed to be Caylee. The tiny skull still had duct tape across the mouth area, and a Winnie the Pooh blanket was found nearby. The discovery was heartbreaking. It turned a missing child case into a full-blown homicide investigation. Following the discovery of Caylee's remains, the state moved swiftly. Caylee Anthony was arrested and charged with first-degree murder, aggravated child abuse, and more. Prosecutors believed they had the evidence to prove she had deliberately killed her daughter. The charges carried the possibility of the death penalty, and the media dubbed it the trial of the decade. Caylee's face became one of the most recognized and reviled in America. When the trial began in May 2011, the defense stunned the courtroom. Jose Baez, Caylee's attorney, claimed that Caylee had drowned accidentally in the family pool and that Caylee's father, George Anthony, helped cover it up. He even alleged that George had sexually abused Caylee as a child, a claim George firmly denied. The defense wasn't arguing innocence. It was arguing trauma, dysfunction, and panic. Prosecutor Jeff Ashton painted a chilling picture. Caylee wanted freedom from motherhood, so she used chloroform and duct tape to kill Caylee, then dumped the body like trash. They presented photos from Caylee's computer showing searches for chloroform and neck breaking. Forensic experts testified about decomposition in the trunk. The prosecution's case rested on one idea, that no mother behaves like Caylee unless she's hiding something monstrous. A key moment came when Caylee's friend testified about text messages between Caylee and a man named Breezy, revealing a casual tone during the period Caylee was missing. The messages included jokes and plans for partying, deepening public outrage. The prosecution argued this showed Caylee's cold indifference, a mother laughing while her daughter was dead. After weeks of intense testimony and evidence, the jury retired to deliberate. The decision wasn't easy. Prosecutors demanded a first-degree murder conviction, while the defense emphasized reasonable doubt and a lack of direct evidence. Public opinion was overwhelmingly against Caylee, but the jury had to weigh the facts carefully knowing their verdict would be scrutinized nationwide. On July 5, 2011, the jury delivered a verdict that stunned America. Caylee Anthony was found not guilty of first-degree murder and aggravated manslaughter, but guilty on 4 counts of providing false information to law enforcement. The courtroom erupted in disbelief and outrage. For many, justice had not been served. The phrase, "America's most hated verdict," was born. The verdict unleashed a storm of public outrage. Across social media, news outlets, and talk shows, people expressed disbelief and fury. Many labeled Caylee Anthony America's worst mother and questioned the legal system's fairness. The media frenzy only grew, turning the trial into a symbol of controversy, justice, and deep societal division. Following the trial, Caylee Anthony disappeared from the public eye. She moved frequently, avoiding interviews and cameras. In 2016, she surfaced briefly, filing a lawsuit to block a book about her case. Her life remains shrouded in mystery. A figure both vilified and pitted, her future forever marked by one tragic verdict. Legal analysts and experts weighed in on the verdict for years. Some argued the prosecution failed to prove beyond reasonable doubt that Caylee Anthony committed murder. Others felt the evidence was strong, but the jury was swayed by technicalities and inconsistencies. The case remains a study in how emotional cases challenge the justice system's rules and limits. The media's intense coverage turned Caylee Anthony's case into a spectacle. 24/7 news cycles, sensational headlines, and reality TV style reporting blurred the line between journalism and entertainment. Critics argue that media frenzy influenced public perception and added pressure on legal proceedings, raising questions about fairness in high-profile trials. The Caylee Anthony case ignited a nationwide conversation about child safety, parental responsibility, and the role of law enforcement. Many communities launched awareness campaigns and emphasized the importance of reporting suspected child neglect early. While tragic, Caylee's story sparked vital discussions to protect children everywhere. The trial exposed gaps in Florida's laws on child neglect and evidence handling. In the years since, lawmakers have introduced reforms to better protect children and support prosecutors in similar cases. The Anthony verdict remains a catalyst for ongoing legal discussions about how to balance evidence standards with public safety concerns. The Anthony family remained fractured. Caylee Anthony often spoke publicly about her grief and heartbreak, while George Anthony faced harsh criticism and allegations during the trial. The case left deep scars, a family torn apart by loss, suspicion, and public scrutiny that followed them for years. The Caylee Anthony trial remains one of America's most polarizing legal dramas. It forces us to question, how do we balance justice and doubt, truth and perception? Though Caylee was acquitted of murder, the case left a permanent mark on the nation's collective conscience, a reminder of the complexity behind every verdict and the human stories at its heart. Thanks for watching this deep dive into one of America's most controversial trials. If you want more true stories from the courtroom and real legal dramas, don't forget to subscribe to Real Law Stories and hit the bell icon so you never miss an episode. Stay curious, and we'll see you in the next story.